2016. Owner Scott Traskus credits ties to Purdue and his wife's. East End Grill has steadily built its clientele since the restaurant opened on Main Street in 2016. Owner Scott Traskus credits ties to Purdue and his wife's family in Greater Lafayette.
We're fortunate to have a local network of people that
Lafayette. Chris Morrissey, Star City News.
Yes, temperatures into the low to mid 80s here today with a little mix of sun and clouds. Looks like we'll keep that weather around.
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to your Star City Late News. I'm Meredith Mitchell.
And I'm Josh Egbert. East End Grill is the Greater Lafayette Commerce Small Business of the Month.
Star City's Chris Morrissey reports that good food and teamwork are the company's key ingredients.
East End Grill has steadily built its clientele since the restaurant opened on Main Street in 2016. Owner Scott Traskus credits ties to Purdue and his wife's family in Greater Lafayette.
we're fortunate to have a local network of people that kind of helped us get off the ground, and it has gone from there with people enjoying the restaurant, and we're really happy they do.
Traskus also credits Chef Lule and the nearly 50 employees who serve up fresh American cuisine that keeps customers coming back.
We got a lot of people that have been here since day one, which has really contributed to us being able to have a lot more stability within the restaurant.
Chef Lule says that employee loyalty is no accident.
A lot of Scott's business practices have helped build the team, you know, simple things like affording health insurance to hourly employees. It's not an expense that an average restaurateur would choose to bear.
Lule and Traskus say they enjoy connecting with community members, and Traskus likes to work with hospitality and tourism management students at his alma mater, Purdue.
The seniors came and did a dinner here where they raised $700, which went to the Boys and Girls Club Lafayette, which is a lot of fun to be involved with those kind of things and helping the students learn about the restaurant business and then having that funnel right back into the community.
At the award presentation, Lafayette Mayor Tony Rosworski said the restaurant is a resource when community leaders are entertaining business prospects.
They just do a fantastic job with the food, the way they host, how organized it is. It just presents a very good image of Lafayette.
Traskus says community support and business are so strong, he plans to build a second restaurant right here on Main Street, right across from the East End Grill where the R&M Wholesale building used to stand. He says it'll be a 2-story building with a patio on the second floor featuring roasted and smoked meats for fast casual dining. He says it'll fill a niche that East End Grill doesn't. Reporting in downtown Lafayette, Chris Morisivica, Star City News.
Now, your first weather.
Hey, we did see some cloud cover across the area today. A little bit of sunshine came through late this afternoon. That boosted our temperatures into the low to mid 80s. 85 the high here in Lafayette for your Tuesday afternoon. 83 degrees up in Fowler, 84 in Romney, and 84 degrees in Dayton late this afternoon. Looks like we'll kind of repeat this tomorrow, but maybe not quite as warm, as temperatures should stay in the upper 70s for Wednesday afternoon. So a nice start to the day, 57 around 6 o'clock in the morning, mainly clear skies. Once again, going to see that mixture of sun and clouds, probably a little more cloud cover than sun as we get into Wednesday afternoon with highs approaching the upper 70s. But the dry weather, the quiet weather, and really pretty pleasant weather hangs around for the rest of the work week. We'll talk more about that with your full forecast coming up in just a few more minutes.
A Williamsport man has died of injuries he suffered in a crash yesterday afternoon. 63-year-old John Cecil died around 6 p.m. at a hospital in Indianapolis. Tippecanoe County Sheriff's deputies say his pickup truck pulled into the path of a semi-tractor trailer at the intersection of US 231 and County Road 800 South. The impact cut the bed of the cab of the pickup in two, and he was thrown from the vehicle.
Well, the Lafayette Police Department is hosting nearly 30 teenagers this week. They're all taking part in the Junior Police Academy. The 3-day course is for kids who are interested in law enforcement and community services. The activities include classroom sessions and hands-on training with real police equipment. Officer Mark Roberts says that the participants learn about the responsibilities of police work and how to interact with officers.
I think it gives a lot of them the aspects of what the officers really do. Everything from crime scene technicians, traffic stops, SWAT team, civil disturbance, anything that an officer may encounter on a daily basis, these kids are seeing.
It's a fun learning experience, and most of the stuff that they tell you here, definitely you can use in the future.
The academy will wrap up tomorrow with a graduation ceremony that parents are invited to attend.
One new study shows that adults who vape are more likely to quit smoking cigarettes. Researchers analyzed more than 5,000 daily smokers in France over a 2-year period. They found that people who used electronic cigarettes consumed fewer cigarettes per day and were more likely to quit smoking completely. Electronic cigarette users were also less likely to relapse smoking cigarettes. However, researchers wrote that while e-cigarettes are helpful in reducing short-term smoking levels, they are uncertain if e-cigarettes will actually help smoking cessation in the long term.
Seasonal affective disorder is not just a condition associated with the winter. It turns out there are some telltale signs you could be suffering from it throughout the summer months as well. A few things that can cause the summertime sadness include a lack of normal routine, pressures to look good in a bathing suit, and worrying about paying for childcare or vacations. Researchers say that the heat also makes people not want to go outside, which can lead to the lack of activity and can cause depression. Signs you could be feeling seasonal affective disorder include a lack of energy, not wanting to see people, and having issues staying asleep.
Well, shocking discovery for a Missouri man after the death of his mother. Now police are investigating.
Justina Cornell reports.
So I was just blown away.
There's a lot on Adam Smith's plate right now. He's not only packing up his life, he's also dealing with the death of his mom, Barbara.
diagnosed with small cell lung cancer.
Smith recently moved into her South St. Louis apartment to help her while she was sick. And after she passed away last week, Smith started rummaging through her stuff.
I was trying to figure out what I'm going to take and what I'm not.
As he was shuffling through the freezer to see what to keep or toss, he saw a box.
I'm 37, and it has been in my freezer for 37 years. And I was always told it was like a wedding cake top.
His curiosity took over. Smith thought in that box there could be that wedding cake top, or there could even be money.
I pulled it out and I set it directly right here. I grabbed this knife exactly right here, and I just cut through the plastic and opened it up.
But what his eyes saw was something he was not expecting.
And it turns out it was a baby.
The frozen baby was wrapped in a pink fleece.
It still had skin, hair, and everything. It was mummified. After that, I just freaked out. I put it back into the box, and I called police right away.
Smith tells us that he never thought to look in that box before.
I've asked her several times. It was either a no-no conversation, she blew me off. My mom has always been so secretive about things throughout life.
Smith started to realize that his mom mentioned before about his sibling passing away before he was born.
We're saying, what, 46, 47? That's how long, I assume it's my sister, has been in a box in a freezer for this long.
A shaken-up Smith is disturbed after unveiling a chilling secret that's been tucked away for years.
Finding this, I'm more like confused, angry, and I just want to find closure. I want to know more answers.
Now, that was Justina Cornell reporting. Police say that this is still an active investigation. A California architect's art installation is turning the U.S.-Mexico border wall into a playground. This portion of the wall in New Mexico is being called the Teeter-Totter Wall. And you can see the wall was turned into a fulcrum for a handful of seesaws. The artist hopes it helps remind people that children and adults on both sides of the border are connected in meaningful ways, and that actions on one side of the border have a direct consequence on the other side.
Authorities say a teenage surfer was bitten by a shark in Florida. The incident took place Monday. This marks the 6th shark attack this year in Volusia County. Now, this is video taken shortly after the bite took place. You can see there are still plenty of surfers out there on the water. Officials say the 18-year-old was bitten on the hand. He told beach safety team members he didn't see the shark. The surfer refused to be transported to the hospital, but beach officials say that his hand did need medical attention. The attack is at least the second in Florida since Saturday, when a man was bitten in the leg while boogie boarding.
Well, a bizarre chain reaction crash. Surveillance cameras outside a TV news station were rolling as a driver rear-ends a car, triggering a chain reaction crash. And then moments later, the driver climbs out of the sunroof. As the vehicle continues to move, the driver then reaches for something in the car and then takes off running. It happened Friday night in Philadelphia, and the Associated Press reporting that the driver was later returned to the scene in the back of a state police vehicle and appeared to be cited. Right now, there's no word on what the driver was cited for.
Well, believe it or not, school right around the corner, and parents will soon be hitting the stores to stock up on supplies. However, it is also important to get your child used to a new sleeping routine. Experts with the Better Sleep Council say instead of setting a bedtime, you should actually set a time to wake up. You should also find ways to make your child's room more peaceful and start by removing all electronics and clutter. It's also important to develop a routine before bed, which can include a short story, possibly a prayer. And finally, it's important to remember that your child can't catch up on sleep.
Water safety officials are warning people about large inflatables after a girl had to be rescued when the wind took her 1.5 miles out on Lake Michigan. The concern, a gust of wind can turn the inflatables into a sail, sending unsuspecting people, including kids, far from the shoreline, according to safety experts. Courtney Kaiser Sandler is a believer. The wind took her daughter up and away on an inflatable unicorn raft while enjoying a day at Glen Haven Beach. The kids were playing in the water about 2 or 3 feet from the shore when all of a sudden.
My friend yelled, "Sophia's floating on the raft." We're all trying to swim towards her, and she just kept on going, just like a little sail. I mean, and no matter how close we got, it was like she was still 10 feet away.
Now, Sophia was about 1.5 miles out when she was rescued by Glen Arbor firefighters. While the Coast Guard didn't have to launch in Sophia's situation, they say they do get a lot of calls about stranded inflatables.
Plastic pollution in our global oceans is leading to a wide range of health problems in the seabird population. A new study conducted by the University of Tasmania's Institute for Marine and Antarctic Studies highlights the important plastic has on a seabird's health. The study shows that a single piece of plastic is enough to cause seabirds to have low blood calcium. Plastic also worsens seabirds' kidney function, causing a higher concentration of uric acid. Now, researchers find that despite being known for their fish diet, seabirds would feed their chicks small pieces of plastic instead. Plastic ingested has affected the body mass, wing, head, and the length of a seabird.
Well, still ahead on Star City News, how the esports industry is growing. Bailey will tell us all about it in sports.
And how 2 American teens are being held responsible in the death of a police officer in Rome.
And after seeing our highs in the mid-80s today, maybe not quite as warm for your Wednesday. We'll start in the upper 50s with clear skies. As you wake up Wednesday morning, highs reaching the upper 70s. By Wednesday afternoon, we'll talk more about the quiet and dry weather expected for the rest of the work week when we come back.
Now, Star City weather.
We caught a little rainbow outside today. This is at the fountain in Ridley Park. We did see that a little bit of rainbow from the fountain going off, and that little sunshine is actually some very nice weather, at least warm weather out there today. So no one out there and playing in the fountain, but it should be. Yes, temperatures were in the 80s here late this afternoon, but lots of clear skies and some sunshine throughout the day. It did warm us back up into the mid-80s here late this afternoon, and have clear skies out there right now. And with those clearing skies, we're falling back into the upper 60s and low to mid 70s. Right now we're at 74 degrees here in Lafayette with partly to mostly cloudy skies. 71 up in Fowler, 73 in Americus, also 73 in Dayton and Romney as well. These temperatures will eventually fall back into the upper 50s as you wake up early tomorrow morning. So 56 degrees to start out around 7 o'clock in the morning. Again, should see a mixture of sun and clouds. We'll probably see a little more sunshine than cloud cover as we head through the day. By the afternoon hours around 4 o'clock or so, temperatures reaching the upper 70s here in Greater Lafayette. North winds are under 5 miles per hour throughout much of the day. So really a pretty decent day as we end July and get ready for the first few days of August. So our weather really has not much to talk about. Really, we're going to be pretty quiet and rain-free here the next several days as temperatures will stay in the upper 70s and low 80s. Make it a little bit warmer by the time the weekend rolls around. That's where our next chance of maybe some showers move in. Not till early next week, though. It looks like we're going to stay mainly dry here as high pressure basically stays over top of our area over the next several days. So we'll have a mixture of sun and clouds again Wednesday. Temperature-wise, pretty pleasant for this time of year. Mostly sunny skies for the first day of August on Thursday. And looking like more sunshine and very pleasant weather as we round out the work week and get ready for the upcoming weekend. Those temperatures are going to stay basically into the upper 70s and low 80s here the next several days. Now, overnight lows will be in the 50s too, so some very nice weather as we head into the rest of the work week and into the upcoming weekend. So here's what it looks like outside for your Wednesday. Again, our forecast map shows high pressure controlling our weather. The high pressure is actually way up to our north, actually bringing a little bit drier air and a little more pleasant air to much of Indiana and much of the Midwest. Got a little rain chance out there to our west, but that's going to stay to our west. And it looks like those rain chances will actually increase to our north and west as we head through the next several days. But overall, looking like our temperatures are really very nice for this time of year and even a few degrees below where we should be as we round out July and get ready for August. For tonight then, clear skies, 56, the overnight low here in Greater Lafayette, north winds under 5 miles per hour. Here's that 7-day forecast, upper 70s and low 80s as we head through the rest of the work week. Yeah, very nice weather for this time of year. Overnight lows in the 50s. A little bit warmer this weekend. We're back in the mid-80s as we head to both Saturday and Sunday, but still rain-free as we expect no rain chances till maybe next week, maybe late Tuesday into Wednesday. We could see a scattered shower or thunderstorm around, but otherwise, temperatures are looking pretty good here for the next 7 days. All right, stay with us. More news when we come back.
New developments today in the case of two teenagers from California accused in the brutal stabbing death of a police officer in Rome.
Italian investigators say that the officer forgot to take his gun when he went to confront the suspects over a theft.
Police also showed a photo of the alleged murder weapon, a commando knife. Barry Arendt reports.
Italian authorities faced the media for the first time since the arrest of two American suspects, Gabrielle Christian Natalia Yorth and Finnegan Lee Elder.
Lo stomaco, il colon, l'intestino.
They displayed a photo of a military-style knife with a 7-inch blade, saying this is the murder weapon, brought in from the U.S. and used to stab Officer Mario Circello Rega 11 times. A police commander also revealing Circello did not have his weapon with him. He had forgotten it. But he said it wouldn't have mattered.
Tempo di reagire.
The undercover officer and his partner were attacked so quickly on this Rome street they would not have had time to draw a gun. An Italian prosecutor said the 19-year-old Elder cried under questioning. His alleged accomplice, 18-year-old Natalia Yorth, asking in disbelief whether the victim was really dead. The prosecutor also calling the blindfolding of one of the teens serious and unacceptable. Gruesome details of the officer's killing in an affluent Rome neighborhood have shocked Italy. Police say the stabbing happened as the teens were confronted over the theft of a backpack and a drug deal gone wrong. Authorities say the two suspects will remain in custody due to the gravity of the crime.
Well, coming up next, a Chicago Blackhawk forward has announced his retirement.
And the esports market is booming. Bailey will explain that and more next in sports.
Good evening and welcome back to Star City Sports. I'm Bailey Wilborn. The Indianapolis Colts are shutting down quarterback Andrew Luck for the next 2 practices and possibly longer due to a left calf strain that has bothered him since late April. The QB and coach Frank Reich say they just want to be cautious moving forward.
Felt good about him going for the first 4 days and progressing up. and then just getting feedback from Andrew, just not ready to take the next step, and just thought the best thing to do is be conservative, go back and regroup, and let's get this thing right.
It's a calf strain, and we're on our feet a lot, and I know to be the best quarterback I want to be, to help this team like I want to help them, I'm not looking for average, and if I'm going out here with pain, I'll be average. I will feel like an average quarterback, and I'll be an average quarterback. That's not good enough for me. That's not good enough for this club.
Chicago Bears safety HaHa Clinton Dix participated in training camp today. He is coming back from the PUP list after dealing with a knee injury from OTAs. Clinton Dix says he can tell something special is brewing in Chicago and is happy to be back with the team.
Last day, man, we still competing, still having fun. It's just a scary injury, but I'm just glad it was something minor. But I know they wanted to be, careful with me and take it slow. We don't play until September, so we want to just be careful and, make sure I was ready to go. So they gave me a couple more days, and I'm excited to be back out here with these guys.
Four-time Stanley Cup winner Chris Kunitz has retired after 15 NHL seasons. The forward will join the Chicago Blackhawks coaching staff, the team announced today. Kunitz spent last season with the Hawks, posting 5 goals and 5 assists in 56 games. He will work in the Blackhawks hockey operations department as a player development advisor. The president of U.S. Soccer is responding to claims of wage discrimination, saying the women's national team has been paid more than the men's. Federation President Carlos Cordeiro released a letter sharing figures that the women's team was reportedly paid nearly $34 million in salary and bonuses between 2010 and 2018. U.S. Soccer says during that time, the men's team was paid $26.4 million. Cordeiro cites different pay structure for the two teams and adds that men have the ability to earn higher bonuses than women. A spokesperson for the players involved in the lawsuit calls U.S. Soccer's figures misleading. Well, speaking of the women's national team, head coach Jill Ellis will be stepping down after her team completes its 5-game victory tour. She'll walk away after leading the team to its second straight Women's World Cup championship. Her contract was set to expire this week, and Ellis said the time is right for her to move on. The move leaves the team without a coach heading into next summer's Tokyo Olympic Games, but the team is expected to hire a general manager soon before the search for a new head coach begins. Ellis has been the U.S. women's national team coach since 2014 and won 102 of the 127 games she coached, the most for anyone with the job. Parents with children obsessed with video gaming, it is possible for them to turn that passion into a career. On Sunday, the world watched as a 16-year-old kid won $3 million for winning a video game tournament. The popular video game Fortnite hosting its first World Cup event in New York City over the weekend. This is just one example of the growing trend of esports. People of all ages are able to put their skills to the test and win some cash. Some gamers can make a decent living, even earning endorsements. One industry CEO says now is the time to get in on the ground floor.
And make about $200 to $300 a week, going to about 3 tournaments in Colorado every week.
You can join a team at your high school. I think there's over 60 colleges in this country that now have esports competitive programs. Entry salaries can be in even the $50,000, $100,000 before sponsorship.
Some of these 16-year-old kids making more than
I'm in the wrong profession.
People in the NFL and stuff like that.
Right, should have been gaming all these years.
Yeah.
Bailey, thanks. We're back right after this.
final look at our 7-day forecast. Clear skies. We'll be back in the upper 50s as you wake up tomorrow morning, so a nice start to your Wednesday. Upper 70s expected here in Greater Lafayette. We'll be low 80s for Thursday and Friday. A little sunshine mixed with some clouds cover. Maybe a little bit warmer for the weekend, mid 80s, but no rain chance in the next 7 days. Looks like dry weather continues through next week.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
And we thank you so much for watching the Late Star City News. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great night.
Thank you for watching Star City News. Follow us on Facebook and listen to us on the radio.